Alrighty. Are you recording? How do I know if it's recording? Yeah, it's counting.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Oh, I guess the green light is
well,
on.
yeah, but it was on before, so I was kind of confused. Alright. Let's perpetuate the fact that I'm not very tall.
That's cool.
No, you're fine.
Angle down so I have this
You're
good
good.
comfy pillow.
Yeah, I know. We got this thing picked up his parents got us for this for Christmas, and I'm like, love it. They're just sitting on a giant pillow. Yeah. So
fun.
yeah, we'll basically go through questions. If there's any that you're like, why the heck did you ask me that? I'm not answering it. You're allowed to say skip.
Cool.
You can take your time thinking about anything, and I can edit out silence, so don't worry. Because I've had people before, they're like,
how the hell do you want me to answer that?
Yeah, they're like, can I take a minute? They're like, you're gonna edit that, right? I'm like, yeah, you're fine. So that's that. So
cool.
basically we'll start out and say like, today I'm gonna introduce you to Joffrey, and then am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'll say some things about you. If there's anything you want me to specifically include in that, let me know.
I'm Joffrey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, alright, cool.
It's really exciting.
Here we go.
Don't
be nervous.
What's
that?
Oh,
please. That's great. You're allowed. I like that. That's fantastic. Alright, let me just pull.
What's the range here? Like, is it still gonna pick me up out here, or should I be like?
Oh no, it's like within. I always hold mine because, for whatever reason, my voice doesn't pick up as well as other people's. So I think I have a low tone. So I just keep mine closer. But you will be fine.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Alrighty. Yeah. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Gotta give your kids something to listen to.
Honestly. You know, kept asking me. I was like, I don't know, guys, what will happen? And then I shot, and I was like, okay.
I mean, I'm always serious, but sometimes people are like, oh, maybe she'll forget and never say anything.
I wanted to do one for a while.
Great.
I just want my friends said, why did we go dark? Why is it so dark now? So sad.
I don't know. Is it still recording? Oh gosh, now the whole thing is. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Don't. As long as it's still. No, it's still counting.
Oh, okay,
so,
cool.
Alright, it's still going. Nice. We're just gonna have a really long file.
Yeah, super long.
Okay. I always tell people you can be yourself. If you swear, that's allowed. If you have your kids listening to this, maybe not, but yeah. I don't typically, but I also give people that freedom.
Yeah.
So, alright, cool.
Nice.
Let's go. Today I want to introduce you to Joffrey. Joffrey is a friend of mine here at home, and in addition to having probably one of the higher levels of skill and patience when it comes to life in general, he's a teacher. So that gives you a little bit more info right there off the bat. He teaches a group of some amazing kids that I actually had the pleasure of getting to meet. And Joffrey is one that is just shows up at his job excited. I don't know how, but I got to witness you with your kids and just being very fully interactive, very fully present, and just giving yourself to them in a way that you are excited for what you pass on to the next generation. And that's something you don't see often in people. I think often it's really easy to get surrounded by a group of kids and be like, I'm not interested. But it's really cool to see the way that you show up for your kids and the way that you really put everything into that. So I am excited and honored to have you here. You made the trip here, and I am excited for even those kids that are tuning in to get to hear a little bit more of their teacher today.
That would be so funny. Hello guys, if you're listening. It's me. I'm famous. I've made it now.
Yeah,
okay.
he's arrived. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Joffrey, thank you for being here. I'm excited to share a little bit more about you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess I can share about myself. How do I start?
You're good. I've got a list of questions that I'm going to go through, and they're all designed at getting to know you. They're just a space for you to share who you are, how life has been experienced, and how you view the world. So there's no wrong answers because it's you, so it's not a test you can fail.
Wow. I mean, as a teacher, that's beautiful.
Yeah, we try. So if you're ready, we'll dive right in.
Yeah, I mean, let's do this.
All right, cool. First one is, who do you define yourself as?
Wow, spicy from the start. Who do I define myself as? I think as a guy who's just trying to, enjoy what little time is here on Earth, or a lot of time. I don't know. I feel like it's so lame saying like, yeah, I just want to get the best out of life, like seek pleasure. It sounds so like hedonistic, like yeah, I'm just here for a good time, but kind of, just here to experience all I can. Really experiential.
Yeah.
Want to like do all the stuff, even if it's weird. Like, I'm a Giants fan. I know some people hate that, but
Sorry.
a lot of Eagles fans. That's fine, I'll cry. So many like Eagles fans, and they're like, "Would you go to the parade?" And I was like, you know what? Even though I would like be so upset that it wasn't the Giants who just won the Super Bowl, I think that it'd still be so interesting to see Philly in that like, oh, we did it united kind of way, and just be there and be like, yeah, I was there. Did I enjoy it? Maybe, I don't know. It was an experience. Now I can talk about it.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a million worse ways to go through life than to say I want to enjoy the process and I want to enjoy the time I have. And, I mean, it's good we cleared up one of your flaws right from the beginning. And you're a really bad football fan. Pick the wrong team.
I'm a flawed human being.
Good. Well, hopefully we'll be at a parade together next week.
Oh, I guess so.
That's fair. Next one's a little easier. What is your favorite food?
Oh, dear. Well, the past like 3 or 4 years, it's a specific platter from a food truck. It's the food truck closest to the Walmart in North Philly on Adams, or like around the Adams Ave area. It's the halal food truck, and I always get chicken and lamb and rice and salad, white sauce and a little bit of hot sauce. Chef's kiss.
Alright, I guess I'm gonna go check out that specific food truck.
That specific. Because the other ones, there are other halal food trucks, and they're like okay.
Okay.
But this guy, we don't know each other's names, but we know each other's faces. So like I walk up and he's already making it. I'm like, thanks. Drop $1 in the tip jar,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Alright, I mean, there were directions in there, so if you're in Philly or North Philly area, like, go check this guy out. Maybe get his name for us next time.
Name
so
would
we
be
know.
important, yes.
Alright, we'll figure that out.
We're so business, we just make eye contact.
No,
It's like food,
I mean,
money, got it.
Communication, nonverbal communication is That's awesome. You're like, I've talked all day, we're done.
Oh yeah, he knows.
Fair enough. Maybe not as a teacher, or maybe constantly as a teacher, but are you reading anything right now?
Yes. Okay. So literally just 2 days ago, I finished this book called Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. And I like fantasy, but it was kind of a prologue for like 900 pages. It was like a 1,300 page book, and
holy crap.
Yeah. It took a while because I've been really busy lately, and I was like, it ended well. But currently, I'm reading a book called Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis, but it's not like really sciencey. It's just like the New York Times bestseller, like one of those.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like a fast read.
Okay.
So
just some light reading after what you just absorbed.
Yeah. I could use it. I'm excited. It's just like reading like, oh, this is like about people and not like some random guy with a sword whose name I can't pronounce.
That's intense. That's commitment though. 1,300 pages it's a commitment.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
Alright.
So many pages.
Yeah, I don't know that I have that in me anymore, actually. We'll see.
Go for it.
Yeah, maybe. What would you say is your greatest fear?
Oh, easy. Alzheimer's. And I'm gonna laugh my way through it. But like, it runs in like half the side of the family, and I'm like, oh wow, like, I could get that. And there's nothing I can do about it. And like, I watched, both my grandpas were fine actually, so one of them's alive. Actually, they're both alive. Both my grandmas got it though, and just like seeing how like they have good days and bad days, and like some days I was like, oh, like that's my grandmother, and other days I'm like, who is this 5-year-old? Because like that's all that they can recall right now. And so I think more afraid of like losing the ability to like think through things and like be independent and having to be cared for is like probably the bigger fear, just because like you're just kind of trapped in your mind, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Although it's 2023, maybe there'll be something we can do about it by then. But yeah, very real.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, anything where you realize that you don't have the capacity to be yourself anymore, to process what's happening around you, to like engage with people and be present with people that you've known your whole life, and to realize that you might be doing something or acting in a way that you have no control over and it doesn't feel like yourself. I mean, I think that's something that would terrify anybody.
Yeah, it's
very,
it's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Well, here's the cures for that.
Here's the cures for that.
We got some time. Yeah.
Any fancy sciences out there? If you could just take care of that one.
Yeah, we'll add that to the list of things that the world needs to solve.
Super easy.
Yeah, just handle that.
Not hard at all.
Along with like 50 million other things that also need to be fixed. Yeah, for sure. On the other end of that, what would you say that you value the most?
Ooh, heavy hitter. I think probably people. Just being in community. I find that I don't know, it's just better to be around people. And I feel like I frequently get bored with myself after some time, or just, I don't know, going through, life is so mundane, and you do so many same things over and over and over again, but you meet these people and they say things, or they open their mouth in a weird way, so you're what did you just say? Or I never thought I'd hear anybody say that or do that, or you're interested in what? I've literally never heard that before. And so that's, probably what I value the most. Community, relationships, meeting unique people.
Yeah, I can agree with that 100%. It's really cool, to be oh, I'm talking to this person, and it's they're talking about something, and I'm I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, you're Googling to try and keep up in the conversation. Wait, can you say that one more time?
I'm not texting, I'm just trying to know what's happening.
Trying to keep up.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I think it is. It's truly awesome to be able to be constantly realizing that you're interacting with people that are bringing something new into your life that without that person you would never be experiencing. Yeah. That's so much of why I love this and appreciate people sharing their time in these ways, because I get to learn so much. Very selfishly, I get to absorb so much from every person.
Unselfish.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Definitely. That's cool. When was the last time you felt joy?
I think today. I think just every day. I know, cheesy good answer. Wake up, I'm still alive. I can still do things even if the day is as horrible as the worst day. It's kind of well, I still get to. I'm still healthy. I still have the people in my life that I love. I still have my Nintendo Switch. I taking I don't feel like I don't take life too seriously, but just seriously enough. So it's every day is another chance to do what you want to do, or help somebody do what they want to do, and I kind of find joy in all of it. So yeah, daily joy guy. Happiness is a different story, but joy for sure.
What do you mean by that when you say happiness is a different story?
It's so finicky, especially in teaching. You'll wow, I just taught the greatest lesson of my entire life, and the next kid will walk in the classroom and be your hairline looks like the McDonald's arches, and I can't and I can't believe I have to listen to you speak for the next hour. And you're cool. So chemistry, this is what you need to know, and you're that really just happened.
Nothing kids to take you from feeling I'm really doing well in life to
Straight
wow,
down.
I am on the floor.
Yeah.
I am not a valued human being anymore. Yeah, for sure.
So happiness is
yeah.
Joy is I'm still here. I got that opportunity. Now I can share the story about the McDonald's arches. So hey.
That's fair. No, I appreciate the clarification. I think it's something that so many of us can maybe overlook, but also understand at times if we take the time to think about it. One feels it's okay, yeah, it's a memory there, and it's holding in the bank, and then someone just stepped on my happiness.
Cool. Do it again.
Yeah, fair enough. When was the last time you were afraid, and why?
Oh, afraid's a tough one. This is gonna sound backwards, but about a year and a half ago, maybe almost 2 years ago, Deanna. Okay, wow, names I should specify. I'm married to Deanna. She is my wife. We were driving home to her parents' house to surprise them for, I couldn't even remember what it was. I think it was just a surprise visit. And you'll find out why it feels a little backwards in a moment. She was driving and I was in the passenger seat, good time, listening to music, catching up, and she started hydroplaning, and the car spun out in circles on the turnpike like 2.5 times. Like both ends of the car were like smashed, and the whole time we're spinning, I was like, "This is fine, this is fine." And like later on in the night, I like checked my smartwatch and I was like, "Oh wow, like my heart rate stayed the same like during the accident." I was like, "Cool, like that's whatever." However, when her dad picked us up and we had finished dealing with the car or whatever, she was sitting up in the front seat with her dad, and I was like sitting in the back seat just scrolling through Instagram, and we were still processing the accident. And so Deanna's dad was just driving down this like back road, and this deer hops out into the middle of the street, and Deanna's like, "Oh my gosh, deer!" And I freaked out in the back seat. My heart spiked. It was like 130 beats per minute from like 60. It was absolutely insane, and like it took me so long to like regulate after that, and I was like, "Why is this the deer?" I was like, "Did I just not process the other trauma before in time?" Absolutely afraid.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
That's terrifying. So what you're telling me is there's like a real life experience where you can actually experience something, stuff it, and something else triggers it later.
I guess so.
Yeah, not funny, but very real.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's terrifying. I mean, it is. It's like, I think there's different types of ways we process things, and sometimes when we're in it, we're like, okay, I'm holding my composure because I can't freak out now, and I have to be calm. And then like
It was fine.
later on, you're like, everything's fine now. I'm allowed to freak out now. And so here we are.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Car accidents are not fun,
No,
for sure.
and then they're expensive. So
Yeah. It's like,
don't do it. Don't do it.
yeah.
Don't get in car accidents, guys. Walk places.
If you live somewhere you can walk, that's great.
It's like
Don't have that luxury.
on the side of the highway,
On
just
the-
freezing.
Trekking it. Fair enough. Would you say that there's a moment in your life that changed you or taught you something?
Ooh, speechless. Okay. Random childhood moment. So, I was 6, and I remember we had a field trip to the Brooklyn Aquarium, because I'm from North Jersey, so Brooklyn Aquarium's like 45 minutes away, so long as you don't hit all the bad traffic. But that morning, my dad was supposed to chaperone, and so that morning my dad was like, "Oh, like, I got called in to go to work," and like, I mean, little kid sadness is different, so I was like so sad. I was like, no, my dad's supposed to go on this field trip with me, and like now he has to go to work. Like, I was like trying to be fine at 6, but I was like so sad. And I remember just sitting on the ground playing with one of my toy cars or whatever, and I don't know what happened from then in like the next 30-minute span. My dad was like, it's whatever, like I figured it out. He's like, we're going on a field trip, and I guess I don't know, I kind of was like, oh wow, like people you love do have like a really huge say and importance in your life, and like if somebody really loves you, they'll be there if they can, like they'll be there. And I was like, wow, I don't know, that really like shook me at 6, and I still remember now all these years later. But yeah, shout out Eric Rosa.
That's really cool. I feel like, I mean, in the same way that like, maybe not to the same degree, but in the same way that you know, one of your kids as a teacher can say something and just like make you feel this big, they can also say something, or you can say something that impacts them such a long-term way. And I'm sure that there's times when your students have also said something and you've been like, this is why I'm a teacher.
Of course.
Like, this is all worth it. And I'm sure for your dad I'm sure you've told him, but to hear that, to know that like, you know, sometimes we make choices and we change things and we do something, we make sacrifices, and we wonder, does it really matter?
Yeah.
And for him to know that it really mattered that much, that it impacted you that much, to feel like, wow, I'm really loved, or you know, I'm really worth it. That's a really awesome thing to have impact you and to be able to hold on to for that many years.
Yeah, really good dad. Great field trip.
Yeah.
Would recommend.
10 out of 10. Brooklyn Aquarium.
Brooklyn Aquarium was incredible.
Still probably not quite 45 minutes from here, but
No,
good 2
not at
hours.
all. Good 2 hours for
Good
sure.
2 hours, but still worth it for sure. But that's cool. I appreciate you sharing that. That's
Yeah.
neat. All right, you've known me for a little bit here, on and off, and
Yeah. I don't know for sure.
yeah. But what is something you think you and I have in common?
I think, and I don't mean this like in a conceited way, I feel like we're the life of the party. I think one way or another, either we gravitate towards people and maybe we're bothering them, I don't know, or they gravitate towards us, and before we know it, we're like in these really long, potentially deep conversations about very oddly specific things that like somebody else joins and they're like, how did you get here? You're like, couldn't tell you. Could not tell you.
That's fair. That's cool. I love that. I don't think anyone's ever pulled something like that before, but I like that to say like, yeah, most likely the person to be drawn into conversation that people want to know how you got there.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Very much. I can resonate with that for sure. That's cool. What is something you're looking forward to?
Ooh. Other than the generic summer answer, because, warm weather.
Nobody loves winter.
Traveling. So I feel like I'm in college saying this. I still have a spring break because I'm a teacher, so that's incredible. So right now, what we have planned is we're gonna go to DC, and then my brother-in-law got us Yankees tickets. I'm a huge Yankees fan, so I'm like, spring break is like a month and a half away, and then we get to tour DC, and then go to Yankee Stadium, just hang out in the city for a bit, and that's like my next big yes, my big yes moment coming soon, sort of soon.
That's cool. That sounds like fun. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I mean, honestly, to be an adult and still get summers and spring break,
I know.
there's got to be some benefits to that
Like
schedule.
more
Yeah.
money, time off.
Take the
Time off.
Yeah. I mean, like, that is an interesting concept. I think that, like, I don't know, I feel like our generation understands a little differently that, like, wealth is also time. And we view it a little differently than maybe than we should, but it happens.
Like, I'd rather have $2 if I can do what I want.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. On the other end of that, what is something you wish was over already, or maybe didn't exist in the world today?
Oh, so many things probably. My joke answer is getting taxes done.
It's a very real feeling as we're like early February and they have to happen.
My real answer is probably like heavy drug use and separated families. Like I was driving through, because I teach in North Philly, but I was driving through Philly to help out something, and I was driving through Kensington, which I don't do every day, but every once in a while you find yourself driving through areas you don't expect to be in, and like it was just all there, like in my face again. Like I've been, but like if you're not in it frequently enough, like you kind of forget, like you see the needles and like empty drug whatever containers all over the place, and like kids and like random people picking up kids from schools that like aren't their parents or like their older siblings or whatever, and it's like it would mean a lot to that area, but also just like the world as a whole if we could figure out some of these larger things that leave people scarred with all this trauma that they end up unpacking, and kind of feel like by the time they get unpacked they're like, oh my gosh, I'm like 40 now and I've lived maybe more than half my life, who knows, or maybe like I only have so much time left and I spent all this time living in fear or trying to figure all these things out that like, not even that like I needed a 2-parent home, but like if I just had like somebody in my house who was actually there around for me, that maybe I could have had more time to do what I want to do or see the people I want to see or make the impact that I was setting out for or something like that.
Yeah, very much. I mean, in the same way that you shared like the impact that even just that one moment with your dad
Yeah.
had, and I'm sure that wasn't the only one,
Yeah.
of just his presence in your life, and the lack of presence of a parent, and knowing that that parent is also not well or choosing something else,
Yeah.
or something that kids can't understand at that point, what addiction looks like and how that hurts and really destroys so much in people. And yeah, it would be a better place in this world without that, for sure.
It definitely would be.
Yeah, maybe we'll add that one to the petition.
Yeah, that and Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
You gotta get rid of them.
Alright. So I'll sign that petition. What would you say makes you feel known and valued?
I think when other people will, honestly, something simple like initiating a hangout or like a text or like, oh, like, can you make it to this thing, or just like an invite. Because in a way, I kind of feel like, not that our life is a performance or whatever, but I guess some people might see it that way. But like, you're doing all these things in your daily life, and usually trying to be the best version of yourself. And so like, when somebody, whether you're close to or not even close with them, like when they recognize like, oh, like this person like gets it, or this person is somebody that like I want to be around, even if it's just for like this one party that I'm gonna have once every 2 years or something. It's like, oh, like, thanks. You want me to be at that. That's kind of weird, but thank you. I appreciate that a lot. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like the grown-up version of being picked for the team.
That's so good.
Yeah, like we want to be wanted. We want to know that somebody thought of us, that like we popped into their mind, that there's something about us that stood out, that like, all right, we're relevant, and we don't just get forgotten.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's something a lot of us can relate to and understand and appreciate, for sure.
Wow, being picked for the team. That's so good. I can't let it go.
Alright, well, there's my one nugget of gold for the whole day.
Oh my
At least we got it recorded.
Yeah, honestly.
Fair enough. So I know you work in Philly there, but where do you call home, and what makes it home to you?
I feel like I call different places home for different reasons. Currently I live in Bristol, and that's like home in its own way, because it's the first place I lived in, like kind of after college, and by myself, in the sense that like I didn't have to report to like anybody, or nobody was like looking for me. Like I had roommates, but they weren't like, oh, be home at a time. Like I just lived with them, and so a lot of my early adulthood memories and like feelings are like in Bristol, and like still live in Bristol now, but in a different place. So that's home in a sense. I think home is still always going to be Hackensack, New Jersey, where I spent, I don't know, like 17 years of my life or something like that. It's just like North Jersey is the greatest place, specifically Northeast, right? Is that the direction on the map?
I think so.
Yeah, Northeast New Jersey is the weirdest but best place ever, because you're so spoiled. You have everything. You have all of the food. You have the suburbs and the city. You have all these different cultures and ethnicities and languages being spoken, and there's so much to do. And if you're a sports fan, it's all right there. And also, if you just like want to not be bored, there's endless things to do to not be bored. And so, yeah, North Jersey, just wow, great times.
And people hate on Jersey, man.
People hate on
It's
Jersey.
a big state. There's a lot of good there. Definitely the food.
Oh yes.
Yeah. PA is struggling on that bus.
It's like Philly, Abyss, Pittsburgh, and no shade to Pittsburgh. It's just not doing it for me.
It's not. Yeah. No, pretty much you leave Philly and it's like, just go home and cook it yourself.
Yeah, Pennsylvania. Much love, because I live there now, but also like maybe I live in Bristol for a reason. It is 5 minutes away from New Jersey.
It's fair. It's valid.
Just throwing it out there.
Appreciate it. What is something you wish you didn't struggle with?
I think, I heard you ask this to other people on other ones. I was like, is she gonna ask me this one? I was like, she won't. She did.
He's like, nothing.
I'm perfect now. Literally said I was flawed like 10 times earlier. Probably comparison. I feel like it comes for everybody, but I don't know. I feel like it comes for me extra. Like, just like going about my day, about my business, and like I start playing the what if game with myself, and then I start thinking about all the people who have those what ifs or are doing those what ifs, and I'm like, oh no, I'm behind at life, or I can be doing so much more in life. What am I, like, they have this or X amount of money or car or experience or places to go or family in these places, or the endless list of like, wow, they are so physically fit. I know I've been working out, but like, how can they upkeep that? Like, that's crazy. And I feel like I'm usually able to like talk myself down, but like, there's no point. Like, we're all living our lives, we all have our experiences, we're all probably playing the comparison game at some point. You might as well just like figure it out, find some good people, regulate, and get back to doing what you like doing most, because you're just gonna spend your time in your head like wasting your time. And I try and like bring it back to, I'm like, well, all the time I spend thinking about all these things I could have, I'm like wasting time with what I have and I'm already blessed with, so it's like, why bother? But yeah, comparison, evil guy. I hope you don't meet him frequently.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. It's like, it's always, I really appreciate you sharing that, because I think it's something that so many people deal with, and so many people think they're the only one who deals with it in that capacity or whatever, and it's like, we all do. Everybody looks at somebody and is like, oh man, really messing up what I'm doing, because they really got this together over there. And I think it is, it says, there's like a healthy aspect of like looking to others and like wanting to grow as a result of that. And then there's like the crippling part where it's like, I'm not good enough, or I'm not doing this, or I need to change, or I'm failing, or I'm missing out. And I think, yeah, like as you say, like it's, silencing that a little bit and moving forward and saying like, all right, let's put that to bed a little bit. But it's pretty common for a lot of people to think of that. But it's always, I find it's always really cool to hear more people talk about it, because it's something that we can all go, oh, well, if everyone's thinking that, then they're also not looking at me thinking what I'm worried that they're thinking about.
Honestly.
Yeah.
That's a comforting feeling in itself.
For sure. I know it's something I'm sure that like, I would even say like with my kids, like when certain ones of them have said like, oh, like I'm worried what this person thinks of me, and I'm like, you're literally all thinking the same thing. There's no like, there's no space in your brain to worry about what your friend's wearing, and there's no space in theirs to worry about what you're wearing. And it's like, we become adults and we all of a sudden like forget that. We're like, no, as an adult, like there is space, and it's like, no, there's not.
And like a dumbed down version of it is like, especially with like body comparison stuff, I'm like, guys, we're all just in our own meat sacks. Like, we're just all hunks of meat roaming around, like
draped on some bones and hoping for the best.
Come on now.
Appreciate that. That's good. I love it. Kind of in that vein, but what is something you used to struggle with but don't anymore, or have grown in?
Ooh. Tricky. Have I grown? Oh, okay. Yeah. Directness. And by that I mean, I feel, I don't know, I don't really know when it happened, if it was like high school or like recently, but I would say I'm generally like a pretty non-confrontational person, like just trying to keep the peace, which is good, honestly, a lot of the time, I think. But then, I don't know, at some point it hit me that I was like, okay, but just being direct and speaking what you're thinking and like trying to accomplish things is also important. So like there can be a time for both. And so I probably have my mom to thank or whatever. She's the most direct person I know, especially when like she needs answers, she just like gets after it. And I always used to be like, Mom, like, what are you doing? Like, relax, dude. But no, I think it's just helpful, and like people need clarity. Like I need clarity. We all need clarity in some degree, and just being like, this is what it is. This is what I require, or this is what I think you do well, or think you can improve on, or like just tell me what you think I can improve on, or like this is the problem. Can we fix it? Or no, I don't want to do that, even though like maybe before I would have been like, well, whatever. I'd rather just not be confrontational about it and just go along with it. It's kind of like answers are good, people. Just they're a matter of directness. Like is good to some degree. I mean, don't be a jerk about it, but speak your preferences. I was gonna say speak your truth, and I was like, I could never say that.
Fair enough. No, I really appreciate that. The directness in a kind way. Yeah, not just, you know, not everything needs to be said, but a lot of things do, and a lot of people don't say them. Like you said, share what you want, share what you don't want, communicate what you need. People don't live in our heads, and they have no way of knowing that if we don't say it, and it just solves so many problems when we can just communicate effectively.
Yeah.
So.
And I get it's scary, people, but I feel like it's a lot scarier if you don't think about that one.
Definitely, for sure. I would agree with that 100%. So I'm sure there's quite a few things as a teacher, but what is something you're confident in helping someone else through or with?
Well, other than teaching people to do things.
What do they do that we're not doing?
No. I think I'm pretty just like receptive to hearing people out and like hearing their stories, and I feel like people have said a lot of things. I mean, like in life in general, people say a lot of things, but I've had a lot of conversations with people that I feel like have been allowed to like get really interesting, like all over the place, or like just very, I guess like, what's the word when you, like having intimate conversations with friends, just because you're like, listen, I'm not judging you, like I'm just really here to listen. Like if you want like my opinions on things, I'll give them to you, but like I'd really rather just hear you out. And so I think I've been good at helping people out, just like, just get it off your chest, like let's just talk about it, or you can just talk about it and I can just listen about it. Just because I know when eventually it'll be my turn one day, and like, hey, can you listen to these really wild things I've got to get off my mind right now? And like I think I do so because I kind of want the same in return. Like if I listen to all of your wild stuff, will you listen to all of mine? Because it's churning up there and I need somewhere to go with it. So just hearing people out and not like giving like big reactions to things. Because I remember I was like a kid, and even now sometimes when I tell people things that I'm like, I'm just trying to get this off my brain, and make these huge reactions like, what? Oh my gosh. I'm like, I don't need that right now. I just need you to absorb. You can react later, just please hear me out. But hearing people out.
No, that's, for sure, to just be able to listen. And it says so much about you, the way people perceive you, that they're able to sit and feel like it's a space that they can share what they have, whatever's floating on their mind, whatever they need to unleash, and to feel like I can say this and I'm not worried about his response. And I think that is huge. Like as you say, like I also want that in return. Like I want to be able to share what's on my mind, and I don't want to feel like I need to process my own emotions while it's happening. And when someone reacts big like that, we kind of do. We're like, I need to pause. Like, what do I need to do? But there is something so extremely valuable in friends that can just sit with us and absorb. And to also be that friend. So I know there's people in your life that are really grateful for you for that, and I'm sure that are there for you as well when you need those moments.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that's cool. Next one's a little more fun.
Oh, fun.
Okay. If I were to give you $10,000 and you have 2 weeks to spend it, you cannot give it away, what are you gonna do with it?
Oh, see, my brain is already split. Practical me is like, finish paying off the credit cards, you can get another one. Or finish paying off this one section of this one car. Other practical me is like, invest it. in this moment, screw it all. Some vacation somewhere. I don't even know I care where. Just like if I can go on a vacation where I don't really have to think, because telling people what to do all day does get a little tiring. But if I can go on a vacation with somebody that I like enough, and they'll just like take me around and like figure it out, amen.
I might know somebody who does.
Yeah, I might know somebody too. She funds trips, I hear. That's crazy.
I didn't actually pay him to say all of that, but that was great. Thank you.
Liana pays for your airfare.
Yeah,
I know.
right. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Loaded. No, that's cool. Yeah, there is something to say for like, I just want to turn my brain off and not factor it and just like be on vacation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not plan. I mean, I think of I had 2 very different vacations a couple summers ago. I got to go to Jamaica and Hawaii in the same summer. I think best summer of my life up to this point. But Jamaica, my parents planned for me and Deanna to go on. And it was great because we had just been so busy with school and so many things. I was like, I don't know, I'm supposed to plan to go away. And so like we didn't have to do anything. People picked us up from the airport and drove us wherever, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. And then actually genuinely just relaxed on vacation. But then like the other end of that, like got to go to Hawaii, and like that was completely on us and figuring out what we wanted to do and where we wanted to go. And there's definitely a lot of fun in both of them. Just depends on like where you're at mentally at the time.
100%. I appreciate both times where it's like, yep, I want to just do whatever, and then other times you're like, my role in life is to sit on the sand.
Yes.
That is where I'm gonna serve my greatest purpose
Tell
for the
me
next
where
few
to go.
days.
Tell me what I need.
Yep, I'll be there. Yep, and that's okay. We're good.
Oh my gosh.
100%. Is there anything you wish you could say to somebody you love, but maybe they're not in a place that they would receive it for the heart that you've intended, or hear it the way you want them to? And don't tell me who, if so.
Yeah. Start airing everybody out.
Dropping names.
What would I want to tell somebody that I love? Can you ask it again?
Yeah,
I
sure.
Reframe my mind.
No, that's fair. Yeah. Like sometimes I feel like there's people in our life where we want to like man, if they just would believe that it was true, and they would hear it or see themselves the way that I see them, or if they would take this seriously and in the way that I know that they could. Like I wish that they would hear that because it would change their life, or I wish that they would be this way because it would be better for them or understand what they're capable of.
Yeah. I think I'm thinking of a lot of people now. Won't say your names, promise. But it's okay to ask for help. Like nobody got where they are now alone, whether they asked for help or somebody forced the help on them. Like let the pride go. People seek out community for a reason. Like we're better in community. We're better when we have other people around us, and so yeah, there's no shame in asking for help. Like we've said, like you live a short life. Why plague yourself more than life will already find its way to plague you? Plague you.
I don't know what the plural. Yeah, I don't know. You're wrong.
Plagues. No.
You're the teacher. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
No, I think that's something. I mean, I know it's something that I struggled with for so long, of like, oh well, if I don't do it on my own, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
And it's like we can tell ourselves that lie that like I have to do everything and I have to do it myself. And then it was funny. One of my guests I had on a few weeks back, she's like, you don't get gold stars for doing something in the hardest way possible. And I was just like,
it's a video game.
Man, I was like, you're right. And it's just like, it's so many times we forget that like, yeah, we're allowed to ask for help, and it helps the whole situation. We can do more when we get help, when we get support. It doesn't make us weak. It doesn't make us a failure. It just makes us more intelligent. And I don't know why so many of us hold back on that one for so long.
Honestly, and
myself included.
And no names will be said, but some people that I love, they're like, no, I'm gonna do my taxes myself and look at every single line and number, and I'm like, listen, I'm proud of you, and like, sure, I think a lot of people could do it, but also you could just know a guy Save yourself the stress and just like give them a little bit of money and then it's done. Very practical help here, people.
I mean, paying someone else to do my taxes is like my favorite check to write.
The best decision I make every year.
Oh my gosh, they'll take my money.
Literally.
Yeah, everyone take my money. Government, no, yeah.
Not it. Are we socialists? Maybe no.
We'll get there.
Honestly.
That's fair. On the other end of that, is there anything that would be hard for you to hear about yourself from somebody you love?
Let's see. Something hard to hear about myself. Oh, probably a lot of things. I think the first two that come to mind are kind of like we don't need your help on this. I'd be like, oh, why? Or like, or we don't need to kind of like we don't need your brains for this one, or we don't need your brains for this problem. Like, oh, okay, like that's fine. Just like, yeah, it'd probably take me a little bit to get over it, honestly, but
yeah, someone saying like, hey, you don't bring any value to this situation, you're like, wow, thanks.
Hard truth. Thank you for being direct.
It's like, I take it back. Don't be direct. No, yeah, for sure, definitely.
But
definitely
yeah, you're like, okay, well, I'll go find something else to do with my time. Not being picked for the team. Everything's gonna come back to me.
Alright, we'll just full circle.
Yeah.
It's fair. What would you say makes you feel at peace?
My favorite version of that piece is swimming out really far in the ocean where everybody looks like tiny little dots and I just tread water and spin around in circles and I'm like, this is awesome. There's nobody out here, all you can hear is the waves and it's quiet, it's all blue and it's really serene. I think that's the word. Yeah, there's kind of nothing like it. The other version of peace I have is everything on my own mental daily checklist or to-do list being done at like 9 a.m. and I'm like, oh yes. Like I got all of my little tasks out of the way, I did everything I need to do, contacted all the people I need to contact, and now I can just sit here and be, and whatever I'm doing I can have peace with after that. If only that could happen every day. But
yeah, there's something about like knowing your brain doesn't have to be divided anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's like I can be fully here and everything I was responsible for is finished.
All about it.
Yeah.
Man.
Love the ocean thing.
Yes.
It's funny because it's like so many people, they're like, I am not swimming out past the people because I don't know what's out there.
Honestly.
But yeah, it's cool.
I'm like, if a shark gets me, like, they deserve it. The odds are so low. So
you're like, if they get me, they earned it.
If they get me, like, I hope I taste good or something, but not a great way to go, but
yeah, it's not the best, but they're
unique, I guess.
They're really not that interested in you.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Yeah, it's fair.
People kill more sharks or whatever, the stats.
Fair enough. Would you let's say that life feels steady or uncertain for you right now?
Steadily uncertain. No, it's, I don't know, I feel like I'm in a really good mental place right now, place in life. There's like things to do all the time, I'm busy all the time, which I like. I'd say the uncertain part is, I don't know, I feel like you talk to people who are like in their 40s and I'm like, I guess that's like not even super far away. But I feel like every time I do, they're like, yeah, so I'm in my 4th career and I'm like, wait, what? Are we calling it that? 4th career, not like 4th job, 4th career? And so thinking about how like, I don't know, like what the end of this year holds or what next year holds and like, maybe I'll be doing something completely different. Maybe I'll still be teaching. Maybe I won't be. Maybe I would have moved to a different state or country. Maybe I'll end up doing a job I hate or doing a job I love even more or like meeting some people or friends who will, like, I don't know, forever change my life. And so, like, the uncertainty is definitely there. 'Cause I don't even know what I have planned for tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe they'll all change. But yeah, steady and uncertain. But I kind of like the uncertain. It's kind of exciting, not knowing what's next.
Mm-hmm.
If life were predictable, it'd be boring. So
It's fair. It's definitely fair. Yeah. It's nice to know to a degree, but then it's also nice to be like, oh wow, there's all these things that could be possible, and
yeah,
I don't really know what they are.
I'd rather be surprised sometimes.
Well, maybe when you're 40, you'll be on your 4th career. You got some catching up to do. That's the plan.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's cool though. All right, so this is always my loaded question.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're like, in case none of those were, this one's gonna. No, yeah.
Breathe.
Is there anything you wish you could say to the opposite sex that normally they would not receive while coming from you as a man? Whether that's something you'd like them to know about themselves or about men, or however you would take that.
This is incredible. Huh. Also funny because I work with so many women all the time as an educator, so it's like, oh my gosh. Love you ladies. It's nice to hang out with the guys sometimes too though. No. I think actually, I think I'd let the ladies know. Obviously choose whoever you want to be with, marry or date or whatever your relationship goals are, totally go for it. However, keep this in mind. You don't have to trust me, but this is the vibe I'm getting. If the guy you're going after is a mama's boy, that is okay. However, there are layers. And by that I mean, like, it's okay that they love their mom and are tight. That's cool. However, some of us guys were too babied. I don't think I was, but who knows? Maybe Deanna would beg to differ. But yeah, like, so catered to by their mothers that when they end up in relationships, they're like, have a lot of like friends will say, yeah, like, he kind of doesn't do anything, or like, I have to do all these like regular day-to-day things, or like, this isn't like what I thought, or all the jokes about like the hardest child to raise is my mother-in-law's son, which makes me laugh so much, but I'm like, that's so bad. Like, that's so bad. We should be way more 50-50. That's not even progressive people, that's just what it is. Like, share the burden of life together, don't make it more difficult. So
that's cool advice that can, I think, be heard on either side. Like, hey,
I hope so.
Guys, like, it's okay if you were taken care of, but you're an adult now, so step up.
Grow up.
And yeah, that's not an expectation for women that maybe are in relationships or looking at relationships with certain people like that, to say like, you should share a burden of life.
Yeah.
And that should be how your relationship is. It's a healthy way to do it. I like that. It's good advice.
It's so backwards sometimes. I'm like, can't we just, figure it out?
Sometimes. That's cool. So I know you speak in front of people often, but if you were to have a large audience before you and you were to leave them with a bit of advice, a life lesson, something you'd want them to know, what would you share?
I hate that Drake lyrics are in my head right now. We're here for a good time, not a long time. That'd probably be worked in that speech somewhere. But probably along the lines of, even for my introvert friends who get more energy being alone, like, go get that experience, whatever it is. Like, there's so many things you can do. Like, nothing even needs to be that extravagant. Like, it can just be a walk, or I don't know, playing a game, or meeting a person, or sitting in the sun, or like, it's okay to leave your home, like, go outside or go to another place. And sure, maybe you don't live in the best area or neighborhood, or maybe you do live in the best area or neighborhood, but there's more to see than your backyard or kitchen sink. Like go do something, as long as that something is not negative towards other people. Go do something. Cause yeah, everything's really temporary, and you don't know what's gonna be what and when it's gonna be. So go like high five somebody randomly. See if they high five you back. If they don't, walk away and fast.
I love that. Yeah, I'm just like I think so many times people can say like, oh, experiences are extravagant or they're complicated or they're expensive or they're I can't get there, and I think one of my favorite things is the sunset, and it's everywhere. You literally, no matter where you are, you get that. I mean, unless you're in like, you know, parts of the world where it literally just
Norway,
stays dark for a while. Eventually they get the sunset.
Yeah.
But for most of us, 90% of us in the world, that is something that's there and it's free. And yeah, I think there's, like you said, go high five somebody, go, you know, just get out of your house, go somewhere and experience life. And I think there's so much value in that for anyone listening to just say like, don't be afraid, just go do something.
Yeah.
You don't have a ton of time, and value what you have of it.
Definitely that.
What is something you wish people knew about your culture, however you would define that?
Okay, this feels like one of those long-winded ones. Okay. Well, I'm Puerto Rican, 100% Puerto Rican. But the beauty of being 100% Puerto Rican is that like that means absolutely nothing because that's the whole like claim to fame if you're Puerto Rican. Like you are so many different things, or you're like one thing or whatever. Like everybody looks like everything. Like I've got red-haired cousins, green-eyed cousins, blonde cousins, darker than me cousins, like lighter than me cousins. Like we're all over the place. So yeah, I guess we'll start with that. If you're Puerto Rican, you look like anybody, and like you blend in anywhere, so it's very odd, but cool. Also, we're, you know, oddly very American, but not American at all. American because like for the longest time, and even still, although I think they're getting rid of it, you can travel to Puerto Rico with just an ID because it's American territories. Although, yeah, you know, passports are whatever, they're eliminating things, whatever. But that's pretty cool. Food is incredible. There's just, I guess you have to like, you know, be into rice and beans and meat of some form, but there's just so many options. Party like crazy, so much good music, very familial and like crazy familial, but like kind of nobody's left out kind of thing. Just yeah, definitely crazy people.
Crazy in a good way.
Crazy in a good way, but
yeah, that's cool. I love that.
Yeah, and it's so funny. It's like being American, but also not American all at the same time. I like to joke that I'm like, we're more American than you because we can go to our home country and don't need a visa or whatever, but then also it's like, no, they speak Spanish here, we speak Spanish. So, no, it's kind of like, I think it's like the best of both worlds.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
So maybe that kind of bleeds in and answers this one, but then what is something you love about your culture?
Oh boy. Yeah, food, yes. Family get-togethers. That baseball is like so big. Like I love baseball. Love all the Puerto Rican players who end up getting to the big leagues. I love the World Baseball Classic's right around the corner, and I can count on them being good. Like that's so much fun for me. Yeah. I'd say love the history. The history's a little messed up, but it's got us where we are today. You know, Spain just wrecking through the Caribbean. But I mean, it's so interesting. Yeah. But the food, the sports, the community, I'd say, like, kind of sums it up. Yeah.
Definitely a fan of the food on that one for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. Yeah, that's really cool. Is there anything within your culture that you're not so proud of?
Um. Ooh. Probably a handful of things. I think, and this isn't in like every case, but I feel like I've seen enough of it. Just like the confusing, um, kind of like relationship dynamics, like a lot of time in Spanish culture. Um, there's like a heavy emphasis, like even though it kind of feels like they're matriarchal cultures, because it's like, oh, mom this, mom that, mom this, mom that. There's like a lot of like weird chauvinism in like some aspects of it, which like doesn't go over well, and it just ends up being like a lot of toxic fighting instead of like, oh, if we were both just this intense about like figuring out how to best live together, we might avoid a lot of these really dumb borderline sexist issues that I feel like we face. And that's kind of even speaking like broader terms of just like Caribbean Hispanics as like a whole. But yeah, probably that. Using their fiery powers for good.
I think that's a cool hope for things.
Yeah.
Just aim the fiery powers in a good direction.
Honestly,
yeah.
exactly.
We could all probably do a lot better things in life if we did that with our passions, whatever directions. Yeah.
One would hope.
Do you feel like you know what your purpose is in life?
Yes and no. To like be the best I can be in the time I have, and like interact with the most people positively that I can. But also I have no idea at all, and it's like, yeah, what is the point of this? What should I do? What is my purpose? And while I think that like part of your purpose is just set and like it will just be like kind of being the best that you can be, I think part of your purpose on earth is kind of like unformed, like not, yeah, like unformed, like hasn't happened yet, and you kind of just have to keep living to see what other little purposes your life might have, but like trying to figure it all out in this moment kind of isn't worth it, to kind of just live in what you know your purpose is right now, and for the rest, like it'll come when it's supposed to come, and if it doesn't, then keep on chugging.
Yeah, like not having to have it all figured out right away, but knowing that like, yeah, some of it I'm gonna know and some of it I might not until it shows up. But we'll see. I don't know if you do, but do you have a favorite tattoo, and if so, why?
No. So sad, but
oh, your kid's tuning in, perked up right there.
Like, where is it? Show us. No. I still kind of wanna. I'm so finicky. One day I'm like, I'm getting a tattoo, and the next day I'm like, I don't care, and I don't want to spend money, and the next day I'm like, I'm gonna get a tattoo. But the last one that I thought of is one that I still think maybe one day it'll be time to pull the trigger. So my last name's Rosa, and there's this. So every time my dad would get my mom a card for a birthday or Christmas or whatever, or even like gift cards to his family, he would draw this like same rose in every single card. And I was like, okay, wow, sentimental value. So me and my sister, she has like 4 or 5 or whatever, but maybe I'll catch up, who knows. But I was like, wouldn't it be such a cool idea, like if we all got like the rose tattoo somewhere, and I was like, I would get it on my thigh just because it feels like the right place to get a tattoo for me personally. But yeah, so that's the one that I'm like still dreaming about. I'd love to get my dad to design it so that we could all have the same matching one. It's kind of like a, you know, like a family thing. You know, people ask, you actually have like a good, cool family story to say about it. Like, yeah, actually, my family was like pretty decent, so here's the tattoo, and yeah.
That's really cool. And also like, yeah, like it says like, hey, my parents like had a good relationship, they thought of each other, like these things. It's like a really healthy, stable reminder for kids to grow up with, and it's something that so many of us don't grow up with, and honestly. So yeah, it's a really cool thing to treasure. It's neat. But, What is something you've accomplished that you are really proud of?
I don't know, it's funny. I feel like every time I accomplish something in the moment, I'm like, that was so awesome. And then a week later, I'm like, what? Why did I do that? I think, I guess, like, I don't know. Degrees are so nonsensical. I mean, I have a master's degree in education. Like, it feels cool to say, but I'm like, what is that? But I think I'm proud of that. um, I think I'm proud that I'm currently accomplishing like routines in my life, and that they've been going well. Like, currently committed to like fitness regimens and like making sure that I take care of myself physically and mentally, and like proud that I'm accomplishing like reading goals that I set out for myself, because like you can just learn so much if you just actually read. So I'm pretty proud of those accomplishments. I guess my Goodreads goals are like some of my favorite. I'm like, oh yeah, I did read like 20 or more books the past like 3 years in a row or something. Like, I'm all about that. So yeah, I guess my reading goals right now are probably like my little baby accomplishment. Like, yes,
That's cool.
I'm doing something.
I mean, if I finish 4 books in a year, I'm pretty happy. I'm working on like 8 this year, so we're trying to double it. But
well,
yeah, I mean that's pretty cool.
Here's your random factoid for the day. So I was doing some research a couple years ago because I was curious. Apparently, go to the internet, guys. Don't trust me.
Okay.
But apparently, the average person reads 12 books a year, but it's inflated for all the nerds like myself out there who are reading a lot more books a year than the average person. But then I did some more research, and they're like, yes, though 12 is the average, it's inflated because of these readers, and it's actually around 4 books a year.
So I'm average.
You're killing it.
I'm killing it for average.
You hit 8. You're
That's great. All right.
Blowing people out of the water. People don't read books.
It's like, it's something that it's like it feels like a relearned skill for me in a lot of ways, where it's like, all right, there's value in this, and I do value it. I just like, I'm highly distractible. Like, I bring a book on a plane and then I talk to somebody.
Totally.
Or I bring it to the beach and then I get in the water.
Then you're at the beach.
Exactly.
What are you reading right now?
I am reading a book. It's called Quiet. Oh wait, no, I actually just finished it.
Nice.
I just
Congrats.
finished it. So yeah, it was really good. It was actually about introverts basically, which
Love it.
I'm not really one, I don't think.
Yeah.
By most people's definition.
As we're here on a podcast talking.
Yeah, but it was actually pretty cool. So I did enjoy that a lot. But yeah, I think that's having goals like that for yourself, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna set these as an adult, and knowing that like no one's holding you accountable. To be able to do that is something to be extremely proud of, and the Masters is definitely worth holding on to being proud of that. It's a big accomplishment for sure.
Thank you. Expensive paper, but
very expensive
thank
paper,
you.
but yes, yeah, that's cool. Well,
come on, joke.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll add to that list. Well, Joffrey, I appreciate so much your time and your willingness to just let me ask you a million questions, for me to be able to share a bit of who you are and just for the person you are and how you show up in the world, and the chance that I've had to get to know you and connect with you a little bit more. But is there anything else you want others to know about who you are or what matters to you?
I mean, I don't know, follow me on Instagram, let's hang out, like, I don't know. That's really it, guys. Just a guy living life.
It's a cool guy living life, though. Appreciate that it's got you connected. No, it's been cool. It's really cool. I always love that I get to connect with really neat people, and glad it was an honor to come and speak with your kids and get to know them a bit.
Thank you again so much for
that. No, they were awesome.
Like, oh, she was so cool. Blah blah blah. Can we follow
I've impressed the child. I'm doing well.
I'm like, yeah, go for it. Like, more followers, the better, right?
That's great. No, that's cool. Yeah, it's an awesome thing when we get to connect with fellow people in the world, and just to see where life takes us. So I really appreciate your time and making the trip down and having a chat with me. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Of course, that's cool.
Alright. You've survived.
Barely.
You did great.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
That was exciting.
Yeah.
Cool. Aww.
First podcast experience. What's the verdict?
Do it again. I mean,
Okay.
I keep trying to con some other friends into like starting one. I just keep telling them I don't want to buy the equipment.
Well, this is the
How much are your
cheapest
little?
setup ever. These are $30 each.
Awesome. And then you have the little.
Little splitter.
Yeah.
You can edit on GarageBand. And
GarageBand, it takes me back.
yeah, and literally it's like the lowest production of anything, but it works.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say the average podcast like fizzles out after 7 episodes.
And you're past that.
We're at like 75, so yeah.
Oh my gosh, what
so
do you do for episode 100?
I don't know. That's a good question.
You should like celebrate or do something crazy. Or
Yeah.
not even crazy, just like weird.
It's good. It's a good thought. No, it's coming up. I guess I should start thinking about that.
Yeah, how many? You put out what, one every like
1 a week.
1 a week? Okay.
Yeah.
Like a real
So
podcast.
they're going.
Do
Yeah.
you have like a bank of ones you've saved up already? Because you know
I'm
you'll be.
recorded out 2 to 3 weeks usually,
Okay.
but sometimes I'm not too. It just depends.
Yeah.
So yeah, it depends on where I'm at or who I run into or who's available. Cause you'd be surprised how hard it is to get people to be like, hey, can I like ask you probing questions for an hour?
Some people like don't believe in calendars.
No,
Which is hard
that
for
too.
me. I'm
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Aren't we adults now? You don't just like. You
Schedule
just look
things.
at it.
I mean, honestly, then there's me where like I have things scheduled and then I reschedule them because I'm like, hey,
Yes, but like I knew it enough time.
I
so
have
was
to
like,
go
whatever.
to Canada last week.
I have to go to Canada.
That's what happens.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's cool.
And I keep forgetting to ask you. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So like,
No, shoot.
what is this? How? Because I need you traveled a
I
lot.
want to shut this off.
That's probably.
We don't
yeah.
need to record our
Make it even longer.
Yeah, you can talk. Sorry, I'm listening.